Hello and welcome. If I asked you the question, who are the greatest hitters since the turn of the century? A few names might come to mind right off the top of your head. Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, Cesar Izturis, Mike Zunino, just to name a few. In this video, we're going to find and rank the 10 greatest three-year peaks of the 21st century. Let's go. So first of all, what's our criteria? How did we go about making this list? Firstly, we're looking for offensive impact only. This means only what they did with the bat and on the bases. No defensive metrics are included. Secondly, we started with players with at least 3 seasons of at least 5.0 offensive WAR since the year 2000. When we did that, that got us down to 64 players. From there, we excluded any players whose peak years started prior to the year 2000. So this excludes players like A-Rod, Barry Bonds, Derek Jeter, Sammy Sosa, Chipper Jones, Manny Ramirez, Gary Sheffield. These, in my mind, are all crossover guys from the 1990s and the 2000s. You still think of the 90s when you think of their peak years. So we're looking for truly 21st century hitters here. This whittled it down to 45 players. From there, we took these 45 players and we looked at their averages from their 3 best seasons, and we ranked all 45 players against each other in 10 categories. So if you finished first out of 45 in a category like home runs or RBIs, you got 45 points. If you finished last, you got 1 point. So let's take a quick look at the players who made the top 45 but didn't make the cut for the top 10. The guys who just missed the top 10 were David Wright, Jose Altuve, Andrew McCutchen, David Ortiz, Jose Bautista, and Joey Votto. Andrew McCutchen led the National League in WAR 3 straight years from 2012 to 2014. David Ortiz averaged 86 extra base hits and 134 RBIs over his 3 peak years. Joey Votto, obviously one of the greatest hitters of this generation. What really kept him out of the top 10 was his horrendous negative 3.7 R-baser. R-baser is a stat that looks at every event on the base paths for a player. So if a player steals a base, or if they go first to third on a single, or if they get thrown out trying to go first to third on a single, etc., etc. Joey Votto was second to last place among our 45 candidates in the R-baser stat. If it wasn't for Prince Fielder, he would have been dead last on the base paths. So he was a really big liability on the bases, which hurt him in our rankings. So without further ado, let's get into the top 10. Number 10, Hanley Ramirez. His peak started in only his second full season in the majors in 2007. He won the batting title and finished second in MVP voting in 2009. His 38 stolen bases per year is the most among our top 10, and he rated very well in the R-baser category as well. So his legs really helped him out a lot in these rankings. And although his home runs, RBIs, and walks don't stack up particularly well among our top 10, he obviously put up some huge numbers in his 3-year peak just to crack our top 10. And you can see at the bottom we have a number here. It says black ink. On baseballreference.com, anytime a player leads the league in a category on any given year, they put it in bold black ink. So Hanley Ramirez has 2 black ink categories in his 3-year peak. He led the National League in runs in 2008 and batting average in 2009. Number 9, Aaron Judge. Like Ramirez, Judge got off to a fast start, reaching his first peak season in only his second season in the majors. Judge already has 2 home run crowns to his name, and he is our leader in the home run category. Judge ranked 5th out of our 45 hitters in the R-BAT category. The R-BAT category basically is a number that says how many runs above or below average this hitter was at the plate per season. Judge's 2022 season was historic. He broke the American League home run record with 62 home runs, and his 10.4 offensive WAR in 2022 is also the single highest WAR season of the 21st century for anyone not named Barry Bonds. What really brings Judge down in these rankings is that he doesn't hit a lot of doubles and he doesn't run the bases very well, coming out in the negative in R-baser. Number 8, the Big Puma, Lance Berkman. While Berkman doesn't lead our top 10 in any categories, and he never finished higher than 3rd in the MVP voting in his career, he has consistently great numbers across the board. During his 3 seasons, his doubles, triples, and home runs combined for 82 extra base hits per year, 120 RBIs, 109 walks, and a .313 batting average, all stellar. He's also the only switch hitter to even crack the top 20 on our list. However, Berkman was not exactly known for his speed and agility, and his negative 3.0 R-baser per season is by far the worst among our top 10, which really brings him down a little bit in the rankings. Number 7, Mookie Betts. Even though Betts has been playing for the Dodgers now for 3 years, all 3 of his peak seasons were in Boston. In 2018, he won the American League MVP as well as the batting title. Betts, a stellar base runner, he leads our top 10 with 7.0 R-baser per season. And he also hit .320 over his 3 seasons and averaged 79 extra base hits. Tied for number 5 on our list, Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie is the only player in our top 10 to have his peak seasons with 2 different teams, Arizona and St. Louis. He won the MVP in 2022 and finished second in his 2 other seasons. Similar to Berkman, he doesn't lead our top 10 in any categories. Unlike Berkman, however, Goldschmidt does add some value with his legs, averaging 14 stolen bases per year and a positive 1.7 runs on the base paths. Also tied for 5th, Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera's peak came in 3 consecutive seasons in Detroit from 2011 to 2013. And if we did a video on greatest 7-year peaks or greatest 10-year peaks, Cabrera would probably rank even higher, but his 3 best seasons were also good enough for 5th on our list. I gave Cabrera the slight edge over Goldschmidt here because his OPS plus and his O-WAR were both higher. His 2012 season is the most notable, as he became the first Triple Crown winner since Carl Yastrzemski in 1967, and he followed that up with another MVP season in 2013. Cabrera finished second place in 3 categories with 127 RBIs, a .341 batting average, and 8.2 offensive WAR. Number 4, Ryan Braun. Braun placing 4th on our list was probably the biggest surprise to me personally. I had somehow forgotten how crazy Braun's peak really was. Braun won the National League MVP in 2011 and finished second in 2012. He not only put up big numbers at the plate, but he also averaged 28 stolen bases and 3.0 runs added on the bases. Braun finished last in our top 10 with only 59 walks per season, but other than that, he put up great numbers pretty much everywhere else. Number 3, Mike Trout. And if you were to rank these players strictly by O-WAR, Trout's 9.7 per season would be our leader by a long shot. He's also tied for first with his 183 OPS plus, and he leads our list with 116 walks per season. His 29 steals, 5.3 R-baser, and 65 R-bat runs added are also good for second on our list. Surprisingly, however, Trout's 38 doubles and triples and his 32 home runs combined for 70 extra base hits per year, which pretty much any other player would love, but it is the worst among our top 10. Number 2, it's Todd Helton. And I'm sure many of you will be surprised that Helton ranks number 2 here above guys like Trout and Cabrera. And I'm sure that there are many out there who will put an asterisk next to his numbers because of the Coors Field boost. But the numbers are what they are, and Helton put up some monster numbers from 2000 to 2003. Helton leads our top 10 with 57 doubles and triples per year, 137 RBIs, and a .355 batting average. And when you combine all of his extra base hits, you see he averaged 98 extra base hits per year, which is just an insane number to average for a full 3 seasons and is the best on our list. And though he only stole 4 bases per year, he did apparently run the bases fairly well as he added 2.3 runs per year on the base paths. Looking back, it looks like Helton finishing only 5th in the MVP voting in 2000 was a punishable crime, as he led the National League in 8 categories, including batting average, RBIs, and OPS. And number 1, not a huge surprise, it's Albert Pujols. The machine leads our top 10 with a whopping 70 R-bat runs added per season and is tied with Trout for a leading 183 OPS plus. He averaged 95 extra base hits and 127 RBIs, and he also led the National League in runs scored in all 3 of these seasons. And a side note, his 15 black ink categories is the best on our list as well. Surprisingly, Pujols' top 3 seasons in O-WAR only account for one of his 3 MVP seasons, as he also brought home the MVP in 2005 and 2008. So there's our top 10 greatest 3-year peaks of the 21st century. Stay posted for our next video where we're going to break down the top 10 7-year peaks. Thanks for watching.